Today we're going to be taking a look at a really cool Dart Zone blaster. Oh, hello Nerf, you're already here. And that blaster is the Dart Zone Max Stryker. In my opinion, this is one of Dart Zone's best designed blasters for a lot of reasons, and it is miles better than the Nexus Pro in my opinion. Let's look at why exactly. Hopefully this stream's going through all right. I hope the quality is good. Let me know in the chat if the quality is fine or if it's going through, if it's glitchy or not. Just let me know. But yeah, let's start this review with a basic overview, starting with the grip. The grip is absolutely perfect, and it is really easy to see why. There is some really nice finger trails and like texture and detailing here on the grip, which really make it stand out, and just a really solid grip overall. Like really good, really nice to grab your hands onto. It just feels great. There is, of course, the main trigger, which has a pretty good trigger pull. It's not bad, not good. It's just a decent enough trigger pull. There are actually two mag releases. There's one for the short dart mag, which is kind of hard to pull out unless you pull the whole thing back. But if it's left prime, you can actually pull out the main mag holder pretty easily, and with this mag switch, which is pretty nice. You don't have to prime the blaster back, which means no unnecessary dry fires, which is great. Then, of course, you have the stock, which is my favorite part of this blaster. Of course, it is buffer tube, so you can switch it out. But I really like this stock because it goes with a built-in cheek rest, and it's just really comfortable. This also includes a scope. I do not have it, and it also has a different... I mean, I do have the scope, but I can't really find it right now. It also has a longer barrel muzzle, but this is kind of just how I run it without a scope or sight. There is the main pump grip, which is very comfortable, and of course, there's a whole Picatinny rail here, and a muzzle barrel thing at the top, so you can switch out barrel muzzles and whatnot. Now, to operate the blaster, it's very standard. You want to load some darts into your short dart mag, or a full-length mag. I'll get to the full-length mag in a minute. But basically, just load some darts in the mag pretty easily. And there we go. Pull the priming pump back, insert the mag, push forward, and fire. And you get some really insane numbers with this blaster. I mean, you're talking about 200 FPS up to that. It's a little bit more powerful than the Nexus Pro from what I understand, and it's really just better in many ways. Design-wise, the plastic and build quality is just so much better compared to some other options out there, specifically the Nexus Pro. It's not as creaky or bendy as the Nexus Pro. It feels more like a solid blaster. The prime is better. If anything, it's a little bit smoother and easier to do because of this style pump. Oh, hold on, safety's on. Which is really nice, and you can actually take off the priming handle and switch it out with other priming handles because there's a Picatinny rail under here, which I find really great. It's a very secure priming handle too. It's not rattly. It feels like it's part of the blaster, unlike the Nexus Pro. A few more darts left in there. Let's fire them off. Double loaded it there. You're not really supposed to do that. And then you're out of ammo. Now, when you pull it back, you can easily take the whole short dart mag out, but say you push it forward, now you're stuck with dry firing. However, you can take it out. You can't really take it out when it's pulled forward. You have to pull really hard, but it's easier to do it like this, where you just take the whole system out. And hold on, let me I got that seal when I fire it. There we go. And once you're out of ammo, though, you can just reload your short dart mag with the other one on hand and continue to fire on like that. Oh, good grief. And yes, this is full-length mag compatible. So let's say you want to fire full-length darts, or your game only allows full-length darts. Well then, oh yeah, here it is. You pull out a full-length mag. I'm just using a 6-rounder for a demonstration. And it fires full-length darts very well. I believe about 120, 110 FPS, which is really good for full lengths. When it's doing half lengths, it gets up to 150, or even up to 200. So, you know, full lengths, you get a really good 120 FPS average, but with half lengths, it's about 170 to 150 to even 200. So one dart left. And the full length capabilities of this are really nice. Let's fire the rest of these off. Sadly, this blaster doesn't have slam fire, so you kind of have to get used to firing it pretty fast. A few darts left. Yeah, out of ammo. Dang. So yeah. When you are stuck on a kind of a D prime and you don't want to dry fire it, you can't really D prime it, what you do, I mean, you can by hitting this pin, but another way is just sticking a dart in the barrel, and you won't dry fire it, and then that saves you the trouble, because pro blasters don't have air restrictors, so dry firing them will actually severely damage the internals of your blaster. Now, there are some complaints, but they're pretty much the same that go with any of these Dart Zone Pro blasters. My biggest complaint is this little prime slot, but that's because you need the compatibility between full length and half length. So the prime slot is there for a reason. It's not just a design flaw, it's just how it is. You can't really do much about it. And the grip is great, but it may be too stylized for some people. I personally think it's an amazing grip. And yeah. Hello, okay, no spamming in the chat. Just don't I don't know. Please tell me I spelled it right. But yeah, you can actually put your seals. Okay, please stop spamming. You can put air seals or something on these, like store them right here, and that's really useful. It has a lot of uses. It's very practical. It's the most solid, in my opinion, of the Dart Zone Pro blasters. It feels so good, and this is excluding blasters like the Omnia and Outlaw, because those are really well done. But of the pre-2023, this was where it was at. This is the best thing you could get your hands on, because they're so comfortable, and I mean not comfortable. This is so well designed and way more solid. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Aiden K, please stop spamming that as well. But it's a very solid. Oh. It's a very solid design, and it's very comfortable. It's very, gosh, now I lost my train of thought. But it's a very well-designed and solid blaster. Really cool, and it's a lot better than the Nexus as far as design, because the Nexus has a very creaky, it feels very creaky and very, it's very creaky. It doesn't feel stable or solid. There's so much flex in the plastic that's really bad. Also, it doesn't have a collapsible stock. It feels cheap for a pro level blaster. It's not a cheap blaster by any means, but it feels cheap for pro level. Yeah, it is an amazing blaster. I personally think the Max Stryker is so much better. There's less creak in the plastic. It feels like a solid actual blaster. The plastic quality feels higher. I feel like most of the Dart Zone Max blasters have better plastic quality. The stock is great. It doesn't collapse, which is cool. It has really good ergonomics. In my opinion, much better than the Nexus Pro. And even slightly better performance for practically the same price. I think it's only about $10 more, which, in my opinion, the extra $10 is completely worth it. It's a very good blaster. Is it outdated now with the new Nexus Pro X? Well, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Is it better than the Nexus Pro X? Well, no, I don't have one yet, so I can't give an actual statement. However, there is another version of the Max Stryker coming out. That's kind of why I did this review, or this live review, and it's called the Max Stryker 2.0. It is a revision, a completely changed up, improved Max Stryker. However, there's no pictures yet. There's just a listing. It's the same price, and apparently they have the Nexus Pro and now the Nexus Pro X. This new blaster is basically the Max Stryker X, or it's called the Max Stryker 2.0 though. So I'm excited to see how well that turns out. I think the Dart Zone Max blasters are generally just better overall. They have better shells, better quality, and mostly better performance and design. A really cool blaster, and if I were to give it a rating, I would probably end up giving it, I probably give it a 8.5 to 9 out of 10. There's not many complaints that don't have a valid reason for being there. Again, it has really good quality, really good performance, the same modularity, like with swapping out springs as the Nexus Pro. It has better comfort. It's just really well designed, and I think it's one of Dart Zone's best blasters. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, I'd give it an 8.5, probably a 9 out of 10, because it has a lot. Oh, no. Compared to 300 Blackout, yeah. But it's very good. It's one of the best dart blasters you can get your hands on as far as like a retail store. I think it is a very good competitive option. It shoots way harder than your standard Nerf blaster. I mean, this thing will shoot close to 200 feet. Yeah, it's a Nerf gun, exactly. It's not meant to blaster. It's not meant to. I think that's a joke, but yeah, It has It feels like it was designed with the user in mind, especially with that cheatgrass there, and where you can like sight it down a scope. Actually, let me grab the scope for this blaster. If I can find it. The included scope is, just a plastic scope. Put a K26 in. Yeah, K26 would actually be it's a really good thing to put in. And thankfully it's designed with that in mind. You can literally just unscrew it and twist it and pull out the spring. Now be careful it doesn't slam into your face. That's what happened to me, because the spring is very powerful. I actually don't know if it's more powerful than a K26 or not. I'm not too knowledgeable in spring types, but I know it's very great for that. And yeah, the scope, however, it's not necessarily high end or anything, but it is cool, and you can use it to sight. It's fairly accurate to use it. It's not like super accurate. It's just a couple of plastic crosshairs, but it's surprisingly reliable for a plastic scope on a dart blaster. It's surprisingly good, and it adds to the whole look of this thing, which like makes it look. It just looks amazing. It literally looks like a true Nerf sniper. Oh yeah, you're talking about the Thunderhawk. Yeah, you're talking. Oh hey Spider, how you doing? Yeah, you're talking about the Thunderhawk Doge. Yeah, that thing is pretty darn cool. It's not the best, but heck, that thing is so fun. Just extending the barrel with the bipod, it's really fun. It has a special place in my heart, even though it's not very useful. It's not very practical. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm assuming that the spring is, K26 is more powerful than this. Yeah, it's not very powerful. Thunderhawk, it's not the most powerful. It does have a little. It's not bad. It's just standard mega, but you can mod it. It's just it's more fun. It's like a really fun toy to play with. Like that's basically what I would say. It's a fun toy, but not a very good blaster. But yeah, the Thunderhawk's good. This thing is like the other end of the spectrum as far as being an absolute powerhouse sniper style blaster. I think this is if you were to get off the shelf, this is the best sniper style blaster. I know most people don't say it's more like a rifle, but with the long barrel, it goes within the scope. It really gives off some sniper vibes, and you can really get some accurate shots out of this thing. And I imagine if you put the new P-car barrel they came out with, that thing will really be powerful. But yeah, and especially shooting these instead of full lengths. However, it can shoot full lengths, which is really cool. I really like this. I really like this design. I think it's the best pro springer next to the Max Dictator that they've come out with. I'm talking about MagFit springers. There's some other good pro springers, and I'm talking about ones from Dart Zone specifically. I know there is some other options that are way better. Take the Worker Swift or the Seagull, or obviously the Harrier, which are way more expensive. But again, they're more expensive and higher quality. This is probably for a budget of $60. This is probably the highest quality, high performance blaster you can get. It's very good budget blaster. Another good one is the Tryon. I guess you could say it's more of a marksman rifle, and I can see that. If like as far as Nerf having snipers, I think this is kind of as close as it's gonna get. If they made like it definitely is more of a marksman rifle. I could definitely see that. But if you were to like take this to a stock game, it would be kind of like a sniper, I suppose. Took the blaster to the airsoft range and won the game. Oh yeah, that's kind of funny. These pro blasters can get pretty insane, and you can actually win against airsoft. Like that, it's not impossible. It depends on. Oh, hey Spider. Yeah, one of my favorite pro blasters too. Doge said, on the range, is there like a power limit? It depends. Like if you're talking about airsoft, I don't think like most like you would have to get a. I mean, there are some Nerf blasters that shoot short darts that exceed most airsoft power limits. I kid you not, up to 500 FPS. However, I believe most airsoft games have like a cap of 350 to 400. I could be wrong about that. But so you can easily get a 300 FPS dart blaster and compete in an airsoft game. As far as Nerf games, it really depends. If you're on like a pro level game, sometimes the cap will be 200 FPS. Most of the time it's 120, so you might have to downgrade the spring a little bit. Okay, the airsoft you were at was 150. Okay, that's kind of funny because if you're an airsoft game that had a cap of 150 FPS, uh, that this thing will definitely compete in that, which is kind of crazy. Like it's funny how Nerf blasters have evolved from being low range for pistols. Yeah, it's funny how this being. Hold on a second. I apologize for that. So anyhow, like this would be a actual. It's kind of funny how Nerf blasters evolved from being, you know, shorter range kind of basement war things things you play with in your basement to literally being absolute powerhouses to even to the point where it could compete with airsoft. Now, obviously, in most cases, airsoft would probably, are those ravens in the background? Uh, yeah, those are my stingers. I have like all the different ravens. I have the stinger ravens, blue one, and then the green one. Ooh, pellet rifle spring and a Nerf gun. Oh, here's the thing: you've got with when you're shooting a BB is even a metal one is lighter than a Nerf dart. So, oh yeah, I love ravens too. They're one of my favorite blasters. Here's the thing: even if you're shooting a BB at 700 FPS, it will probably translate. This is a rough guess to close to 300 for a Nerf dart. I could be wrong about that. I'm not an expert, but I would probably say that. Yeah, it would probably be 200, 300 FPS. I'm assuming. Again, not very sure. I know if you do, you might want to, if you convert to a Nerf blaster, there's some good ones to do. I would actually use a spring like that in a pro level blaster that's capable of taking that spring. Because if you put it in like let's say, hold on, let me give you an example here. I don't have a lot on hand. Okay, here's one. Say you put it in this thing, or just any standard stock Nerf blaster, it's probably going to break your internals if it's a really powerful spring. So you want to put it in a blaster that will handle it. There's some worker blasters that do it. This might be able to, but you might end up breaking the catch. But you can do it. It's very possible. Only 6 people? I don't know. It just goes up and down. What is the best Nerf gun? Well, our blaster. I prefer calling it a blaster. Doesn't necessarily matter, but it is just a little detail. Yeah, you gotta be you if you get the right blaster for sure. That spring would be good. You just gotta make sure you get the right one. You do it on the right blaster. Uh, Best Nerf gun. What would that be? It's hard to say which one's the best. There are two like base Nerf blasters I'd recommend for everyone to get. Like my personal favorites are kind of different. If you were to get one off the shelf, I think some of these pro blasters would be the best. But I think the best for beginners are three different blasters. The Strife, which is a semi-auto, Nerf blaster with batteries. Then there's the Strong Arm, which is like a sidearm, and then there's the Retaliator. All of those have mod potential, and they're very. Those three are like the base ones to get. Do I prefer battery power? I actually prefer springers. Battery powers are flywheelers are basically when. Hold on, let me show you. So this is a flywheeler, and how it works is that there's these spinning wheels in here that they spin when you hold this rev trigger, and then you pull the trigger and it pushes the dart from the mag into the flywheels and shoots out. I personally prefer springers because they're easier to mod and tinker around with, but flywheelers are good too. It just depends on your game style or how you like to play. Yeah, springers are great. Yeah, that would probably be the best way to actually do that. There is some ways you can convert Nerf to air rifle. I will say this: don't use full length darts or any kind of full lengths on air if you're going to shoot it out of an air rifle. Oh yeah, I like springers and flywheelers, but I prefer springers slightly more. Like if you take a short dart, you want to shoot a short dart out of if you're going to shoot it out of an air rifle, I'd probably say a short dart would be better to shoot it out of because they don't break as much. If you use full lengths, they're going to shoot, but they're going to shred shooting out of the barrel. If you get yourself one of these, a short dart, it'll probably work a lot better. And then to hook it up to the air rifle, I'd probably if you can fit it in there, I'd probably say well, get yourself like a brass barrel that would fit a Nerf dart or a PVC pipe and try to hook that up. But I mean, there's ways to do it. There's probably YouTube videos too. That would probably be the best way to use that spring to shoot a Nerf dart. But that would be dangerous. My favorite way of shooting a Nerf dart really hard is this. This is from an old Buzzbee blaster that you pump up and you pull the trigger and fire some air out of it. This thing will shoot your dart about 300 feet. So this thing's absolutely insane. Again, that's air pressure. Yeah, the streaming numbers keep fluctuating, but you put a little dart in there, preferably a short dart, and you fire this thing, and it's going to absolutely destroy anyone you're shooting at. You actually be safe not to shoot this at someone up close because it's insane. But get yourself a pump blaster, a good one, and you can actually mod it to shoot insane. You're not even modding, you just convert it to shoot regular darts, which is real easy to do, and it's absolutely insane. Yeah, it's going to keep, the streaming numbers are going to keep changing for sure. But yeah, the Max Stryker is a really good blaster. It's not the best as far as like options on the market, but it's one of the best, and I think it's the best off the shelf for multiple reasons. But that's my review of the Max Stryker. I'm probably going to stick with it 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Very reliable blaster. Very good. It is $60, but for what you get, it's worth it. Oh yeah, you can easily convert Nerf blasters. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But Doge, you can convert it. You can convert Nerf blasters to airsoft pistols pretty easily. I did that with the Fire Strike, and it worked. It worked actually really well. It didn't shoot hard or anything, but for airsoft pellet, it was decent enough. The Nexus Pro, however, it's a good blaster. Don't get me wrong. I think the Max Stryker is just better. The Nexus Pro is too creaky. It's not very solid. It doesn't feel solid while shooting it. It's good, but it feels like a modded blaster. It feels like something you threw together, which it doesn't feel like a solid product, if that makes sense. Now, I can't wait to get the Nexus Pro X because I hear it's really good. American Lord PG. That was actually funny. Yeah. This is the Nerf blasters, yeah. Oh my gosh. What the heck is a kilometer anyway? So, yeah. I really like the Max Stryker, and I think it's great. Anyhow, I probably gotta go. I don't have much time, but I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this review, and yeah. if you like what I do, if you like this stream, hopefully it's going through good. But if you like this stream, please feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I do all kinds of content like this. I do streams pretty often, about once a week. But yeah. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, thank you so much, Rogue, for subscribing. Yeah, I'm sure kilometers are a superior way of measurement. It's just, the joke. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I appreciate y'all for subbing if you like this kind of content. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.